Hello, and welcome to the Bitcoin.Review podcast. This is an ad-free pod. Thank you so much for streaming those sats. Hello, welcome to the podcast, where unlike Peter McCormick, we actually get past the index on mastering Bitcoin. I am joined by Mr. BentheCarmen. He now has a job. He does the Bitcoin company, but really that's his side gig. His real gig is running the Socratic meetup in Austin. So he is known for holding his pee for at least 2 hours. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah. I've been doing awesome bit devs for 2 years now. Get paid with free barbecue afterwards. Very good gig.
That sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, happy to be here.
And I have Mr. Bitcoin Gandalf. He is a professional shit poster on Twitter. He's been around for a while, and he knows a thing or two about Bitcoin. Nice to have you, sir.
MBK, thank you very much for having me.
Oh, I guess he's got the Bitfinex, not Bitfinex. A tethered truther voice.
Indeed.
No, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
So yeah, guys, we have a very long list today. The goal is to be boring, and I'm certain we will fail at it, but we'll try. So I'll start with a little bit of housekeeping here. Since this is an ad-free episode, you're going to get some Coinkite updates right on the beginning. This is an actual free security project we launched as a BinaryWatch.org. It's essentially a website and a Twitter bot where we watch Bitcoin projects' binaries download page and we check their signature matches. We've seen this in the past. I think it was Electrum this happened before, where the server got compromised and then the binary that was available for download was an evil one. So we figured, hey, since a lot of people don't check signatures and don't do their own research properly, why don't we just keep an eye, even if it's for ourselves too? And if something happens, we'll try to get the bot to scream at everybody. So definitely follow the bot. Is BinaryWatch bot on Twitter. Have you guys checked out this project?
Yeah, it spams my Twitter like every day.
Good.
It's cool. You guys should add Core Lightning, because one of my projects downloads Core Lightning every time CI runs, and like half the time it fails to get the right hash, and I have to rerun it. So I don't know if GitHub's screwing up or something, but yeah.
Send the URL, the pub key that's used to sign, and the link to the URL where the actual binary is to me via email, and I'll add to the to-do list.
Okay.
It's fairly easy for us to add.
Okay, yeah, we'll do.
MBK, I love this pod. I listen to it. I listen to every episode, and I've heard you mention the BinaryWatch. And I am a tech enthusiast, but I'm not like a techie, so I don't actually know what a binary is. And I wonder if there's other people listening who are like me and maybe don't know what a binary is. Perhaps you can try to explain it in a couple of sentences, a couple of paragraphs.
Yeah, it's actually a very good point. So essentially, you have code, right? Computers don't run code, right? Your software is running a compiled version of that code, which is really becomes machine code as opposed to human code. So to do that, you use a stack of compilers, right? It's essentially the stuff that converts the people code to machine code, right? But the problem with the computer code is they're like, what the fuck? We can't read it, right? I mean, you have people who can go break it down, look at the hacks, and sort of try to figure out what's going on. But realistically speaking, you can't read it, right? So what happens is devs go and they match essentially the bytes that went in, right, to make the code to the output file, right? That's in a deterministic build, right? So essentially you have a byte per byte match of that code that went into the binary code, right? That's the ultimate scenario. And then you have a signature on top of that, right? Saying, hey, this binary is that, and you can check the checksum it matches, and you're good, right? And the checksum is essentially SHA-256 over it, right? Of the file bytes, So you have a small string that you can check against. So all that complication really means is that when you look at a binary on, say, you go to codecard.com, like to the upgrade page, and there is a file there for you to download saying, hey, this is a firmware for Codecard, and it's not the code for you to build, it's just a firmware actual file. What happens is we're going to publish beside its signatures, right? Saying that this is the file, here's a signature saying that this is the file, right? Based on that shot signature. The problem with that is a lot of people don't check that, or our servers could get compromised. And even though the text is there, it's saying the correction, it's saying all the right stuff. The file is the same name file, right? The actual file could be an evil one, right? Because our server got compromised. It doesn't mean Codecard got compromised, just that bad file there. So what this bot does is it essentially keeps on checking all these websites' download pages to make sure that the actual binary matches the signature. And if it goes wrong, then the Twitter spams even more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wait, so does that mean, did I catch it correctly, that somebody can sort of swap the file for, a malicious malware file, but the signature would still match? Can they make it do that? The signature won't match.
No, the signature wouldn't match.
So as long as you check the signature.
You can write whatever you want in the HTML, right? So it may look exactly the same. Although, it gets tricky, right? Because on Codecard, if you load that file, the Codecard is going to say, no, it's not signed to the factory certificate. But say Electrum, right? Or Sparrow, right? Your computer is not checking the signature of Sparrow for you. This is something that you have to go and do yourself, right? So if you download an evil Sparrow, one, you could, steal your local keys, or two, you could try to build evil transactions. There's all kinds of shit that could happen, right? So essentially, you want to make sure that was signed with the key of the dev, which is still a level of trust, right? Because you haven't verified the code and stuff. But, at least it's like one more step. It's kind of a biggie. And that's why most Bitcoin projects will have like a signature near the download file for you to check against.
Yeah, I never came across signatures or checking for malicious software and stuff until I got into Bitcoin. So it's a nice lesson to learn.
Deterministic builds didn't exist before Bitcoin. It was a Bitcoiner project to invent essentially code that matches deterministically to the output. That's it's kind of amazing, really. Bitcoin brought security needs to software in a whole different level.
Crazy. Was this before it had a lot of monetary value, or was it because it was becoming becoming worth money?
No, the paranoia was already there. I think it was maybe around 2014 that deterministic builds came about. I honestly can't remember when.
I think Dev Random started in 2011, talking about it.
But actual being out there, I think was a bit later, wasn't it?
I would assume so, but yeah. I don't know.
So that's binarywatch.org. The other housekeeping item here is the value for value. Yeah, so we've seen a lot of fun and interesting things happening with this and Lightning, and I like Lightning now. I didn't before that much, but now it's fun because I'm earning it. I think that's the kind of whole point. So a lot of you are probably listening on Fountain, and or some other Pod 2.0 thing, and keep the shout outs coming and all those things, and we're gonna read them through the show, and we're gonna have some fun with this.
Boost it up. Boost up the show.
That's right.
Right? We have Adam Curry was saying we've got to learn how to prompt the audience to donate or to give sats.
How are the chickens going to get fed if we don't take the sats to then give to the chickens, right? All right. And then the last housekeeping item here is the updates. Okay, so Sats cards and tap signers working with brands now and artists for rev share on designs. That's a lot of fun because now designers and artists are going to be able to make some money. And we're looking into also finding monetization for wallets that activate them and looking into all that stuff. Glassnode data now on block clock. You just refresh and it should be there. Some people ask for me to mention. Yeah, so Taproot signing is on Codecard's roadmap. It's a lot of work. There's not a lot of uses yet, but it is coming. So just add it there and there. And I think that's it. Moving on to the software release and project updates. So Bitcoin Core version 24, completely uncontentious. We should move on.
Yep.
Kidding. All right, so I'll read. I'll do a little summary here, and then you guys can pick in at whichever parts we want to talk about. I'll leave the contentious one for last. So P2P network changes, updates to RPC, new RPCs, updated REST APIs, build system. So GUIX builds are now reproducible as well. New settings. Wait, I will leave that one for last. And wallet, I'll leave that one for last. Migrating legacy wallets to descriptor wallets. That's kind of nice and very experimental still. And some UI changes. Now there is a new menu item for restore wallet from backup file. That's nice because you used to have to use the command line for that. All right. So Ben, do you want to talk about the P2P network before we get into the wallet stuff?
Yeah, I think this change is pretty cool where it's actually like funny. I was like when I saw this change, I was like, I went back in history and like one of my first issues of Bitcoin Core was about this, where basically Bitcoin Core used to just have like checkpoints in the code of like we expect like block height 100,000 to have this hash because it was basically kind of just protect against like denial of service stuff where people could send you a bunch of like really low work headers and then you would just download like tons of data and then it'd be junk and you'd be wasting your time and bandwidth and CPU power and all that stuff. So they fixed that originally by doing checkpoints, but now they removed the checkpoints, so now you're like trusting developers quote unquote less. But the way they fixed that is you just download headers twice. The first time you download them and just find the best chain, and then you just like make your own checkpoints and then download the correct ones afterwards and actually save them that time, which is like pretty clever. And it's nice because like the headers, like it takes like 5 minutes to download, so it's not like increasing IBD time or anything significantly. So
more like a minute.
Yeah, it's extremely fast.
Another cool thing too is, and a shame they didn't go into this build, was they were going to have like a way for you to essentially like a whitelist the nodes that you want to talk to with a key, but that didn't go into this one. Do you know the rationale? I can't remember.
Are you talking about BIP324, like the encrypted stuff, or is this something? Yeah, I think that's just not ready yet. It's
not ready.
Like I subscribe to that pull request, and it's always getting comments on it. So
I've started to more and more unsubscribe from pull requests.
Yeah, I found that you can subscribe to only when it gets merged. So I've been using that a lot now, where it's just like tell me when this is merged. Yeah.
So we're going to enter this from two angles, the wallet angle and the Mempool angle. So as you may know, as an avid listener of this podcast and a person who spends a lot of time on Twitter, there was a little bit of controversy with the last two changes to Core, which really just brought back a setting that already used to exist, which is Mempool full RBF. Essentially, it only relays transactions that are RBF, and that's an option, and it comes default off. So nothing changes on your Bitcoin Core 24 from the previous in this regard unless you change that setting, which 99.99% of the people don't. And the other thing is now full RBF on the wallet is default. That is a change that is on by default, but it is on by default in a lot of Bitcoin software, which is also not contentious. It became contentious. So for the people that don't know, replace by fee is just a formalization of a behavior that already exists. Unconfirmed transactions don't really exist. What we have is proposed transactions that have not been confirmed yet. And if a proposed transaction that have not been confirmed yet is accepted as payment, the receiver should know that that Bitcoin is not his yet, and anyone can rebroadcast a new transaction and try to replace it with a bigger fee. Or even if a small one, it could happen. So RBF just formalizes that with a flag. And the cleanup here is With the mempool full RBF flag, if you turn that on, it means your node, by your choice, only relays transactions that have that RBF flag on. This is a lot of like going in and around because the semantic games by people who want to depend on zero confirmations cause a lot of confusion and create drama where there isn't. Do you guys have opinions on this?
I definitely do. I'm curious, Gandalf, to you.
I'm almost like out of my depth on this to really have an opinion that matters, I think. I don't. If you can already, RBF already exists, so I don't understand what the flagging is, what impact that has, and why people are upset, like people who rely on zero conf transactions are upset about.
So the belief is a belief. This is not like...
You need faith.
There is no way to know yes or no for sure. But the belief by people who accept zero confirmation transactions is that if a transaction is marked as for RBF, it has a higher chance of being replaced because it's a transaction that the sender already marked as, possible for change of replacement.
Yeah.
But that is not true, at least from my node. The majority of transactions we receive in our shopping cart are marked as RBF, and they don't really get replaced. Unless it's a high fee environment, then they all get replaced.
I mean, the sender already knows that if they've sent something with RBF turned on their wallet, supposedly they already know that, right? That they can replace it if they want to.
Yes.
So it being marked doesn't really change that, right?
That's right.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think a lot of people don't, maybe a lot of like more newer Bitcoin users or some who don't understand the technology behind it that much, they might not even know that RBF is on their wallet or what it is, right?
The problem with the new people is that the new people have not been around for high fee environment. So they're just used to like being able to send one set byte Rodolfo style. And essentially like, what I'm willing to wait, which is a couple months, no problem. And my node will just keep on picking up and rebroadcasting it because it drops after 2 weeks, essentially. These new users just don't understand that in a high fee environment, like you really, like it's scary for you to send a transaction without RBF. Because if you don't know how to essentially, I hate the double spending because there is no double spending in Bitcoin. The rebroadcasting of a new transaction on Bitcoin it's hard for most people to do. But that's about to change. I think a lot of wallets are going to add two buttons that I think all wallets should have, which is try to send faster. And the other button is try to send it back to me.
Okay. Like that's essentially like a cancel.
Yeah.
Kind of, yes. It's a try to cancel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like BlueWallet has that. Yeah, I think this is like a very good step in the right direction. Because like, in today's environment of one sat per byte always, it really doesn't matter. But Bitcoin eventually, at least if it's going to survive, we're going to need some transaction fees, and so we won't have this forever. And with that, we need to be able to like properly have incentive compatible mempools. So like when I am creating a transaction, I need to give it a fee rate. And I should be able to do that like self-host by like fee estimation, ideally, where I can get a fee rate not by asking mempool.space or blockchain.info or some API. I should be able to self-host that so it's like more decentralized and permissionless. And the only way I can do that is if my mempool looks as close as possible to the next block, which is like the miner's mempool. And so basically I need to have my mempool have the highest fee rate transactions in it, and like doing full mempool RBF gets you like one step closer to that. I mean, it's like not just like doesn't solve the problem, but it's like a very good step in the right direction. And it just like makes things like more in line with reality. Like you can say, oh, I'm not accepting any transactions that like are replacements, but like if the block gets mined with the replacement transaction, you're not going to fork off Bitcoin, so you're just going to accept it anyways. So like might as well just like not live in the dark and just like accept reality. And
like the thing that sort of drives me a little bit nuts is the fact that the whole point of Bitcoin was the invention of the solution of the two generals problem, right? Like that is by proof of work included in a block, right? If you're not including that transaction in the block, you're not really using Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's like you just use Visa at that point. You're trusting your counterparty. Like you
That's
can
right.
trust Visa, who's at least like a reputable business versus just random anon on the internet sending you money.
People may not remember the malleability attacks that Bitcoin encountered for like, what was it, like a year long, the absolute nightmare. And because of the malleability attack, you couldn't trust zero confirmations. There was a high chance that somebody was going to like completely spam with the what was it, inverse S transaction and cause all kinds of like software to break, right? It was a huge problem.
That's what like the Mount Gox was like claimed why they lost all their money.
Right. I mean, that's Makila income there. But so it's just silly. And what's fascinating to me is that you run, like me, you're a merchant, right, on Bitcoin and Lightning. I don't do Lightning yet, but it's coming at some point. And the argument is that folks sort of use this red herring that like the majority of merchants don't like this. It's not true. I know more merchants that are okay with it than aren't. Actually, some merchants that are against this actually are very similar business model than you have with the gift cards. So it's just fascinating to me that you were able to do that without zero confirmations, but these other parties can't. Could you do you have like some opinion on that?
We launched on-chain payments like last week. So, and we're like BitRefill is the one you're talking about. They're like 100 times bigger than us or something. So, not totally comparable, but still like I'm not going to build something that's going to accept promises for up to like $10,000 of gift cards or something. That seems kind of like not very secure. And we have credit card payments as well, and like it's insane how much we launched credit card payments without tweeting it out for like 2 weeks, and we got like 300 cases of fraud in that like time before we even announced it to people, just because random scammers found us on the internet. And like that's like we have like all these like fraud protection things in case to like so we didn't like lose money, but like you can't really do that with Bitcoin. Like we're not gonna like check your phone. Oh, it's in it's in Nigeria. That means you're gonna double spend us. Like it's not really the same thing as credit cards. So there's no like real like kind of way to protect against that. So it's just like literally like trusting your users not to double spend. You can
even for us, I mean, like the amount of times that like people go and buy a credit card with us and then just like and we have to like so the guy goes and does a chargeback, right? And the reason is going to be something like something stupid, right? And then we contact the person. It's like, come on, man, what the fuck, right? Like, why are you doing this, right? Like, and then oh no, that was my wife. Yeah, like she didn't recognize the charge or something, So it's kind of funny. Like for like half of the cases, like we're able to sort of find an amicable resolution to it, Some of them are, unfortunately scammers. Some of them are just a-holes. They're not really like, they're just trying to get the product for free. But what a lot of the a-holes don't seem to understand is that like, we have your full information on credit cards. Like, don't be an a-hole.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's stolen credit card information, but
we don't see that too much anymore. Our fraud level is very minute, and it's mostly it's about half of our sales are in credit card. And
we had a guy the other day. He got past our fraud checks, but then like we realized it was fraud, so we banned him. But then he filed a support ticket with the card he was able to purchase and said like, I can't sell it on this gift card selling site. Can you please refund me? And we're like, no, fuck off. Like you stole it.
Yeah, no, it's pretty bad. I mean, gift cards are complicated, right? Because they're really used as stable coins. Mm-hmm. We sell our Coinkite stable coin as well. We have a Coinkite gift card. I think it's listed on the Bitcoin company, isn't it?
Yeah. We just uploaded a bunch of them today.
Well, that's great. All right. Are we resolved on Bitcoin Core 24? So, by the way, please, person listening to this, go there and turn on the setting for Mempool full RBF, as that is the way. It is just a preference thing. It's not consensus code. But yeah.
It is. I think I talked to a couple of people and they were saying like they did some like research or something, and like if like 15% of the network had the flag on, then like it would kind of simulate that everyone has the flag
Yes.
on, just because.
All you need really is about 10% in some miners. There's not. It doesn't take much. You cannot have a feature of Bitcoin that only requires 10% of the network be something that you can depend on it not existing, because it will happen.
Exactly.
Do you guys are you guys in the camp of like not updating your Bitcoin Core software for like 6 months? Are you like running 6 months behind, or are you always running the latest version?
I run all the versions. I have many versions running,
Nice.
custom versions running. Yeah, that's the way to do, because if an old version falls off consensus, that's kind of like, that's a great way of finding a problem.
Okay. You know, NVK, I bought, like, when I first decided I was going to run a node, I bought Raspberry Pis, and then I heard you say that Raspberry Pis are a shitcoin and they shouldn't be used. So now I'm like stacking old laptops to use as nodes.
Yes.
No, I mean, Raspberry Pis are egregious. I mean, like, they cost a fortune. They're not open source. That's like, it's like all the people who are really intense about source code, like, go and use a closed source, like, computer with closed source firmware from Broadcom. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there is alternatives to single board computer alternatives out there that are much more decent. Rock 64 and Pine, and it's a bunch of out there. And it's not cheap either. Raspberry Pis are very expensive.
You can get a laptop for like $300, right?
That's right.
And Raspberry Pi costs like $200 or something now.
You can go on eBay and get like a 10 times better desktop computer for like $80. Like,
There you go. Okay. Mr. Craig, pushing more software. Sparrow 1.7.1. Add icon to wallet tabs for paynims and hardware wallets, and support icons through the tab context menu. Broadcast pre-mixed transactions from terminal using mix selected UTXOs. Show address as QR in the terminal. Change QR code density for UR encoding. It's URI encoding via QR display dialog button. Are you guys Sparrow users?
Sparrow is the only desktop wallet. I know I've used Green and Sparrow. Those are the only two desktop wallets I've used, I think.
It's a nice upgrade to Electrum, really. You could think about it that way. You know, Electrum is the amazing sort of like absolute clusterfuck of a code base just because of how old it is. You know, it was the first wallet that was not core, but it was the first wallet that was usable. I love that Excel look of it. And yeah, I mean, you know, you could use some love or maybe a rewrite at some point, but like, it's nice to have code that's been around for so long and sort of has a lot of eyes on it.
I'm a Bitcoin Core maximalist. I just use their wallet.
I can't do it. You know, yeah. I mean, the hardware wallet support is improving, but the UI is just, man, it's just, you know.
Command line.
Through the command line is fine. But for business purposes, you know, like I'm doing a bunch of stuff, I don't think about it.
Yeah, not the Bitcoin company does not use Bitcoin Core's wallet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could say that Electrum and Sparrow still use Bitcoin Core through an Electrum server.
I guess.
Right. Libwally Swift. Bump Libwally Core to 0.86. Improved build scripts for Libwally Core and M1 Max support. Switch to libsec 256K1. Oh, ZKP. Okay. So they switched back to the vanilla version. Okay. Libsec 256K1 and match Bitcoin Core's commit. That's good. Nobody should be running ZKP for production unless they're trying to do weird shit. For people that don't know, libsec 256K1 is Bitcoin Core's maintained crypto library for Bitcoin's crypto operation needs. And crypto, I mean cryptography.
The real crypto.
And it's what everybody should be using, really. We switched Codecard to libsec a few years ago when it was sort of like stable and usable.
Wonder why they were using ZKP.
Did they already merge Schnorr into the main library, or is it still on ZKP?
Yeah, it's in the main library. I think they're working on batch validation in ZKP, but I don't know why Libwally would need that.
Okay. All right. BTC Pay Server 1.7.0. New version of checkout as opt-in feature. Request customer data with forms for email and shipping addresses. Server settings. Add option to customize instance logo. I'm going to read this fast, guys. Store settings. Add branding options. Greenfield. Store rates config. Get Lightning invoices. Create payment requests invoices. Allow marking payout status and payment proofs. Wallet objects. Add crowdfund app. Create endpoint. Add Lightning service torque. Wow, that's quite a few things. BTC Pay Server, always shipping.
What's torque?
One day they will rewrite the whole thing in something that is not Microsoft legacy. Love you guys.
What is it like? Is it .NET or something?
Yes.
They're like the one Bitcoin project to not use libsecfee as well.
Right.
Like it's just like Nicolas Dorier copy pasted the code and translated it.
That's funny. But, to be fair, though, at least like C# is a real language, unlike JavaScript.
I saw Jack Dorsey was wearing a BTC Pay Server dog tag on stage at the Bitcoin conference in Ghana or whatever.
Yeah, Rockstar was there essentially like shilling, blasting, and converting people into BTC Pay Server shills. He reached really high there with Jack.
Yeah, indeed.
Fully noted, the nostrnode Tesftflight. Ooh, they're adding Nostr. That's pretty cool. This is the CLI version of nostrnode. Nostrnode CLI, fewer dependencies, is pure Python. Set up a service alongside Bitcoin Core. You should experience increased speed, reliability. Currently testing iOS and Mac. Very cool. LND version 0.15.5-beta. Fixes some bugs related to Taproot output used with remote signer features. Add some additional validation checks before using addresses. Fixes a bug that would soak up CPU when a peer installed the funding flow. Ben, which implementation of Lightning do you guys use?
We use LND. I'm very happy about this update. I reported the Taproot bug that they fixed. So it's the third Taproot bug I found in their code, but I think all of them are fixed now and the wallet works fully Taproot.
Yes.
Nice.
Taproot, I don't understand why people are so like rushed into like doing stuff with Taproot, because there's not a lot to do with it yet. Like it shouldn't, in my opinion, it shouldn't be into production things. Not because Taproot is not ready, which might as well not be. But assuming that it is ready is just that, the market has essentially no need for it yet, or there's no tools built for it yet. So it's just more code to break. And Taproot is complicated as fuck.
They're doing it because they're doing Taro stuff, so they need
I see.
They need Taproot wallet support. But yeah, like them and Bitcoin Core are like the only people that support Taproot, so.
Okay. So it's essentially Lightning breaking Bitcoin as usual. First was let's make the block size bigger with SegWit. Then let's add Taproot. Okay, wonderful. I'm joking. All right, Core Lightning version 22.11. Alameda U Generator, December 1, 2022. Reckless is a new plugin manager that you can use to install and uninstall plugins with a single command. AutoClean has become much more powerful and efficient, especially for larger nodes. A new filter API can be used to extract only fields you are interested in most JSON RPC commands. Core Lightning, really, see Lightning. I can't say that I remember the original name. That was an interesting name change. We use C Lightning in the node that we don't use yet. I think there's half a BTC sitting in a node there. That's, if you go look at nodes, there's a Coinkite node there that hasn't sort of done much ever. I think it's not even connected to anything. But yes, we intend of connecting that eventually to the store and other cool SAT streaming operations that we have in mind.
How do you guys accept value for value then?
Oh, I'm using fully. I go
Custodial.
Lightning full custodial. I'm on Fountain for value for value.
All right.
And I'm also using Phoenix Wallet now, which is kind of nice, except for the fees. I kind of get why they're doing what they're doing, but still the fees. It's just that the relative size of the fees annoy me. It's not the actual economic value of them. But they are working on, and this is something I'm going to want your opinion in a bit. Why don't we talk about that now? So they're working on channel splits, because the problem is they do that thing where they open a channel where the money is actually on the way, but then the channel runs out of liquidity fast or whatever, don't fully comprehend. And then what they're trying to do is they're trying to do channel splits so they can split those channels and sort of save you a lot of fees on that way. Are you sort of, do you like that solution? Are you working on anything like that, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, are you talking about like channel splicing where you can like basically like
yes,
edit it?
splices, sorry.
You can like update a channel. I think like it'll be cool. I mean, I know like Core Lightning and Eclair are like the main people working on that stuff. I don't know if LND will ever give it, but I think it'll be really cool. Like the liquidity part of like helping like to be able to do like it's like a lot of times people just like open channels to like 20 people and then like 2 of those channels are useful. So then you could just kind of like instead of having to close and like reopen new channels to those like actually useful people, you could just like make that channel bigger, like more efficiently use the blockchain and stuff. So that'd be cool. And there's a lot of cool privacy stuff you can do with splicing where you could like coin join your channel and stuff like while it's not like without closing it and stuff. So that'd be cool. But
sounds like something we really need because the fees on Lightning are really annoying. And I kind of understand it's not sort of like liquidity people trying to rip you off. It's just is a sort of limitation to technology still. But if you are using Lightning for bigger transaction amounts, then those fees are actually relatively very small. But, thinking about set streaming. Gandalf, do you have a favorite Lightning wallet you use?
I mostly use, it's not even a Lightning wallet, but I mostly use Moon. Just because
I use that one too.
Yeah. I'm starting to use Phoenix now because some of my colleagues at Coin Corner introduced it to me and said I should use that instead of Moon. I don't really understand why. I'm paying similar-ish fees. I'm not streaming like 20 sats ever, really.
So Moon is a bit of a hybrid wallet, right? They use submarine swaps or something like that on every transaction. Is that right, Ben?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Basically, every time you do a Lightning transaction, it normally does an on-chain transaction unless it's like a really small amount. Then it'll sign the transaction, but not broadcast it, and then you'll like settle the difference with their server when you do like like an actual valuable transaction.
Wonderful. Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like the biggest sort of issue with Lightning is that like it's fucking complicated. So a lot of devs can't wrap their head around and sort of like try to work and come up solutions because there's the Lightning complication, all the payments channels really, which is the original sort of idea of it, plus the Bitcoin complications. And let's reduce those fees, guys. That's priority, right? Finding ways to become men in the middle are not the priority because the technology won't get adopted if you only focus on ways of becoming the man in the middle for the fees. Let's lower those fees.
Yeah. The thing I liked about Moon is that if you don't run your own Lightning node, it's a good way when people just want to send you on-chain sats and you want to use those on the Lightning, you want to pay a Lightning invoice, you get them sent to Moon Wallet and then you can pay either on-chain or Lightning with Moon Wallet and don't have to worry about anything.
So there is a little project we're sort of starting to research internally is because we have the cards now and we want to pay rev share of the cards with the artists and possibly for wallets that activate them and like a few different sort of ways of doing the rev share of the sale of each card. So what I want to experiment with is essentially instead of like doing a proper sort of like let's call it a business transaction where, quarterly we tally how many cards like we sold with your art on it and like to then give you, whatever bucks we owe you, especially now that's still like early in the day. So like those amounts are going to be much smaller. I want to try to stream it. So I want like every time somebody pays us, even if they pay us credit card, we will on a certain business schedule, whatever, right? Depending, we have to, account for fraud and returns and shit like that. But like, assuming all things are equal, I want to start sending like those sats straight to your, artist wallet, right? So it just goes out and the accounting works properly, which is kind of a big deal as a business, right? Doing Bitcoin accounting is, as everybody knows, is wonderful. When you can have, 50% capital gains in 1 month, or you can have negative. It's kind of a problem keeping all that whack, which is the weighted average cost of your transactions for the accounting solutions to work on. So I want to do that. And we're sort of trying to figure out how we can do it because we're going to be mostly inbound, right? So all the payments coming in. So we're going to have like enough liquidity for outbound as well for that stuff. And it's some things are still unclear.
It's kind of like splits, right? If you have a guest on your podcast, you can split the streaming sats with them. You just do this for the artist or whoever you're collabing with on the cards or the wallets.
At some point, yes. I think we'll probably keep it simple to start. It's like, give me your pub key for your Lightning wallet, and that's it, kind of thing. And then eventually, why not, right? It is pretty cool, right? That you go on the streaming thing on the pod app and you sort of like choose how many percentages and who gets what. Like, it is pretty neat.
We're doing something similar at the Bitcoin company where, because like when you buy a gift card, you get sats back. So we're going to make it so you could like type in your Lightning address and then we'll stream those to your, to your Lightning node, so you can like never really hold a balance on us. All your sats back will immediately get sent to you.
Nice.
So your sats back is actually Bitcoin that you can like use on you can send to other wallets. I think Bitrefill, the sats back, you can't withdraw. You have to spend them on Bitrefill, right?
I don't know. I didn't know. I've never gotten sat. Like every time I've used Bitrefill, they didn't give me sats back. But
I get sats back somehow.
Okay.
Yeah, but I haven't tried to spend them ever, but I heard you can't move them off Bitrefill.
Yeah, well, you can withdraw ours. So yeah, you can send it. Like right now we just have it like withdrawal only, but we want to have it where you can just like auto withdrawal. So, so we can't SBF you or something. But yeah.
Nice.
By the way, Bitrefill is run by my friend Serge. People doing cool things in Bitcoin for a very long time.
Yeah. Serge is, I like, by the way, that wasn't a dig at Bitrefill.
No, because I was awesome. Talking about them previously, with the Mempool stuff. I sort of forgot to mention that, that they are a good actor and, it's just business sort of needs
they're
kind
great.
of thing.
I'm always surprised by how few people use Lightning to buy gift cards on. I think they released data saying how people bought gift cards on Bitrefill, and the percentage of people using Lightning was like minuscule.
Yeah, but it makes sense. I mean, it always goes back to Gresham's law, right? Like, people will spend their shitty money before their good money, right? And like dollars is what you spend, and Bitcoin is what you save. Like,
but I mean, even versus on-chain Bitcoin,
right?
Yeah, like people were doing a lot more on-chain versus using Lightning, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, we don't have Lightning yet for me to have I think for us is also going to be very small Lightning use because the invoices are large.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people will have that amount of Lightning Bitcoin versus on-chain Bitcoin.
Yeah.
For those invoices. I mean, we offer always 5% off if you pay Bitcoin. That's why a lot of people use Bitcoin.
Yeah.
A lot of them just do spend and replace kind of thing, right?
I used, like, you guys had the discount for get your sats off exchanges. I used that. I paid in Bitcoin. I got like a whole bunch of money off. It was great.
Yeah, it was a very interesting couple weeks in terms of I was not expecting bear market demand for hardware wallets the way it was those 2 weeks. But it's nice though. I mean, like, people are really getting off exchanges. Like, it's in a crazy amount. Gotta make those assholes buy spot premium.
Hell yeah. I can't wait till all these people come back that thought they owned Bitcoin, but they owned no Bitcoin. And when they come back to try and buy it again.
Even if you don't care about the Bitcoin sovereign properties, right, and running your own node thing, you are actually increasing the price of Bitcoin by removing it from the exchanges because you're lowering liquidity on spot, right? All these assholes are left with is perps, right? And perps is like you're in a whole different category there of getting screwed if you don't understand what you're doing. So yeah, let's end all the Bitcoin available for spot. You want to buy a Bitcoin for spot? It costs 2.
Hell yeah.
That should be the running average price. Like gold has that, right? If you want to buy bars of gold delivered, okay, especially when there's a bit of something bad happening in the world or whatever, there is a premium. And sometimes it's like during COVID, I think it was like 25%, 50% premium.
Or sometimes you just can't even get your hands on physical gold in the first place, right? Though it sells out.
Yep. Let's call it the SBF premium on Bitcoin. They caused inflation. When somebody did the math, it was 25% inflation for the epoch.
Yeah, I saw someone was like basically like he almost invalidated the halving because
Yes.
like with all the inflation
It was the amount of paper Bitcoin was whatever would have made Plan B's S2F model valid. That's how much he printed.
It is kind of funny, right? That he essentially like validates Plan B's squiggles.
Wait, did he? Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Somebody did the numbers. It was very close.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, well, that's Air America for you there. Fully USG run company. Okay, BlueWallet LDK, non-custodial in dev. When adding a new wallet, press the lightning button 10 times. Thanks to KLBTC for this tip. Or tap your shoes 3 times.
Yeah.
Eclair version 0.8.0 adds official support for 2 important Lightning features, zeroconf channels and channel aliases, adds experimental support for dual funding and a lot of preparatory work for both 12 offers. Lots of groundwork on blinded paths, onion messages, and offers both 12. Who wants to give a primer on both 12?
Ben.
All right. Like Bolt 12 is kind of like right now when you get an invoice from someone, it's like they display it on the website or they tweet it out or something. Versus like Bolt 12 is like you ask for it directly through the Lightning protocol and then it replies to you that way. So it kind of removes the need for like hosting like a separate server to serve like invoices. Instead, it's just like you run a Lightning node, it could serve everything for you, like network wide. And then because of that, you can kind of fix a lot of other problems with like QR codes like being too small or too big, and so like if you want to put in a bunch of like hop hints or blinded paths, it won't fit in a QR code, so you could fit an offer in there and fix that problem, stuff like that. So
how is that stored? Like how does it actually work? Like how is the linking happening between that QR and the stuff that doesn't fit in the QR?
And basically like the offer is like it'll say like contact me here.
Okay.
And then you'll contact them and be like, I want an invoice for 1 million sats, and then it'll send that to you, and then you can pay the invoice. So
is that an ID of the wallet, or is that an ID of that payment sort of interaction?
I mean, it's like all kind of the Bolt 12 like implementation. So like you would need it on both ends. But
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Mempool.space version 2.4.0. I think this one happened a while back, but we missed it because I don't think it had a pod yet. So I wanted to add in. So all new mining dashboard with 7 new mining graphs. Added bit feed style mempool block visualizer. Improved blocks page that identifies mining pools. Improved fee suggestions with no priority rate. I am a fan. Wiz is a cool dude.
Seconded.
It's a fun project.
Yeah, big fan.
It's pretty. Although I do miss blockexplorer.com.
I don't think I ever used that one.
That was the original hyperlink blue.
Oh, yeah.
Are they still running?
Yeah, looks like it. Or now it's the Handshake Block Explorer. So it's a shitcoin now.
No, yeah, no, it's pretty. No. That's meh. Go back. If you ever have a chance, anyone listening, go to Internet Archive and go back a lot on blockchainexplorer.com. That was a great site. Or it was .org. I think it's .com.
If anyone wants to do their own block explorer, I think I own timechainexplorer.com.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. I was gonna try and learn to code and try to do a block explorer as a like project, but I don't know if I'm gonna ever get around to it. So I'm happy to, if somebody else does it, I'm happy, and does it open source, I'm happy to donate that.
That's a very good way of understanding Bitcoin. That's what we did. Way back then, we created a btclook.com. It was the whole blockchain was 8 gigabytes. So we did the whole block explorer in RAM. So you could actually like transverse all the transactions with like d3.js. It was pretty cool. It was an appropriate amount of hex on the screen as well. btclook.com. Did I leave a BT?
Yeah, it's still there.
I think I might have put a screenshot on the domain. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a cool project.
That's the premise of Mastering Bitcoin, the Andros Antonopoulos book, right? It's like he gets you to practice building a block explorer and a wallet or something like that.
There you go.
Yeah. So
yeah. So when we launched this, there was not a lot of options, and the problem is it was all in Redis. So like, it was great when it was 8 gigabytes, but then like very soon it wasn't 8 gigabytes anymore. And then you had to like find servers to pay a lot of money for a lot of RAM. And at the time, RAM on servers was a lot more expensive than it is now. So we just killed the project.
I bet it was very fast when it was working.
Oh man, it was fantastic. All right. Now there is this company that has a funny name. The Bitcoin company added support for on-chain payments.
Yeah, we have.
Wow, let's have the person who did it talk.
Yeah, that was it was like our biggest release ever. We called it for ourselves. So yeah, we had on-chain support. We've been Lightning only for like a year, and everyone complains. There's no way of on-chain support, and no zero comp for unconfirmed transactions. But otherwise, I think we tried to like kind of do a cool thing where like we have like if you overpay or underpay, we just like pay you back that amount that you like overpaid or underpaid, so you don't just get screwed. So we tried to do it like a nice, correct way and stuff. But yeah,
it's awesome. I am a big fan of on-chain payments. Like it's just so simple. I have the coin. The coin is in a wallet. I have an address. I send to that address, and then 10 minutes later, 20 minutes later, is valid. Like there is no complication around it.
The thing is, Lightning is so much easier to accept, though. I just like it's either paid or not. There's no like
right,
and it can expire, and there's no like underpay or overpay. Any like, what if they send it to the address a year later? Do we still honor that price, kind of thing? Like,
no, receiving on chain is a lot harder for the merchant for sure. I mean, our wallet works, right? So we just don't update it. So the problem is it's still running legacy addresses. We don't even have SegWit on SegWit addresses on our store payment invoices because if it's working, don't break it, right? But it is approaching a point now in which it's gonna have to be upgraded. We're almost making that leap. LiquidOps beta release Lightning node management software by Bolt.observer. You know that one?
I do not. Okay.
I should check it out. People that have projects do send us projects. It's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
BDK 0.25.0. This release fixes slow sync time and big script pub keys table with SQLite. Okay, and also added a new blockchain and mnemonic examples. BDK is great. I think a lot of projects will use it. Although it's kind of like late to the party a little bit, like now everybody's sort of like focused on sort of Lightning wallets, not so much on like just base layer wallets. So it's kind of like kind of wish BDK existed, like a few years ago. That would have been very useful to a lot of people. Right. Do you guys know of any other software releases that I might have missed? This is a good time to add them.
I don't know. And check our BitDevs list. It's normally pretty lacking. But I don't think
it's been slower this last few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see anything on our list.
Well, if you think about it, we can always add to the show notes. All right, Project Spotlight. That's a new section of the show. Used to be just mixed in. Good job, Johnny. StatsCrap. The name. Sorry, SatsCrap. Bitcoin P2P marketplace launches sell or buy any item for Bitcoin without KYC. Operates by the same team, same as successful Bitcoin art marketplace Scarcity. The marketplace that does not use logins, bank accounts, or registration process. I am a huge fan of no accounts. SatsCrap is a cool name, but it's very hard to say it. So you guys might reconsider that.
A tongue twister.
Yeah. Call it Sats Craigslist. I'm sure they won't sue you.
I like their logo. It's like the Euro like Sat logo, but it's like made it look like a trash can with the lid at the top. It's
I love
funny.
it. This is a great idea. I think we're gonna see a lot of that. There's also that other one called Peach, but I think it's only the Peach doesn't do the payments, right? It's just
Yeah, it's for like it's like a Bisq middleman kind of thing.
right. Have you listed anything there, Gandalf?
No, I have a fractal infinity key that I bought from Scarcity. This is the first I'm hearing of SatsCrap, but I know one of the co-founders of Scarcity. He's a hustler. He's at every conference. They're there with their art.
Yeah, they're always there, right?
Yeah.
I love that they do a lot of art with open dimes on the back as the signature, and we're talking to them to make the new Sats chip thing
Nice.
as the way for them to list. I think like physical art with like a certificate that is actually cryptographically verifiable is a cool thing. Selling the certificate as the art is the problem.
I mean, like building a Bitcoin business is hard. It's hard to find a business model that's profitable that isn't just like, sort of using VC money and flushing it down the toilet. And so they seem to have a viable business model that, people want to buy art, they provide a marketplace and they take a slice of it and they keep it lean.
Yeah. Rosaki, proof of reserves. I know this one. So yeah, so they're doing some cool stuff and it's very timely, right? Everybody's looking for a proof of reserves now, or at least like a very crappy version of proof of reserves, because nothing is better than shitty proof of reserves, because then look, I have the money, yet I don't. I think what they do is they don't let you redo the proof to the same addresses for 6 months or something like that. I think until we see proof of liabilities as well, which is not compatible with the digital world, really, it's going to get dicey. It's best to just take the money off the exchanges. But
Exactly.
I do want to see this problem resolved to a certain extent, because people will be on exchanges. That's not going away.
I think it's pretty funny. Real Bedford, like McCormick's football team, or they did their proof of reserves on there for like 3 Bitcoin.
They're gonna need to win more championships to be able to get more coin. Satimoto, charge your electric vehicle and pay instantly using Bitcoin over Lightning. I don't understand.
Is this the Tesla thing?
It's like a electric vehicle payment terminal that accepts Lightning.
Okay, so
I guess.
so you can send it straight in. Then the diesel generator is right beside it too, right?
It's all over France. It looks like weird. Yeah.
Is it hardware or is it just software that integrates into an existing charging station infrastructure?
Maybe that might be it.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I look at this is like, it doesn't matter what ESG fiat scam it is, as long as they're using Bitcoin, is already an improvement.
Yeah.
True.
Okay, Smartino, Bitcoin full node and Android. Don't know that one either.
Does that mean Bitcoin full node on like a phone?
So bash script for installing Bitcoin Core and Android devices and run a node. Okay, interesting. I have not used that project, but I also don't use Android.
So it's possible because you can run Ubuntu or other distros on an Android phone.
Yeah.
So
Gotta have a terabyte phone, eh?
Yeah.
it also says you can attach an external drive to the phone using the USB-C.
What would the use case be for that?
Why, there's no reason why. It's, can we?
Yeah, exactly. Have you guys seen this one here? Mutiny Wallet. Very cool interface, but feels like it's going to steal all my money from the browser.
That's my project.
This is alpha software. Please don't trust it with money you don't want to lose. Okay? It's like a fun 90s UI there.
Yeah, me and some people did this for a hackathon.
Oh, okay. So it's you.
Oh yeah, I thought you were joking.
No, I don't. Okay, we need to add, we're going to add a description there.
But yeah, we basically put a full LDK Lightning node that runs entirely in your browser.
Oh, so I knew about that project. I didn't know it was Mutiny Wallet.
So yeah, another like, not why, but can you kind of thing. But it works. And we got second place in the hackathon, so that was cool. But yeah.
I mean, I absolutely love the UX buttons on the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, like that's some quality iconography there.
Yeah, it's all Next.OS icons.
Yep. Very nice. Who won first?
LightSats. It's like this like tipping platform for Bitcoin where basically you could like tip someone and then it'll like walk them through like what Bitcoin is and how to download a wallet, and then they can withdraw it to their own wallet. And if they don't do that, then you get your money back, so you don't just like burn the money by, if you like tell your bartender to download BlueWallet and then delete it like, right afterwards, your money's gone.
Okay.
That's a cool concept.
So it's essentially a rug pull as a service.
Basically.
Rug pull if you don't put in the work to learn about Bitcoin and claim it.
Yeah. Democratize rug pulls.
I mean, the amount of people, like I gave Bitcoin way back in the day, that like completely lost it. Bitcoin's gifted or Bitcoin's lost.
Yeah. If the person hasn't had to put in work to get that Bitcoin, and especially if you're just like trying to orange pill them by giving it to them, it's gone.
Yep. Wavlake. This is kind of cool. Little raw, but it's cool. It's essentially a lightning powered music streaming site. So I guess you pay the artists directly, giving a fee to a middleman. And, they're providing value, so they deserve that fee. Very cool.
It's like Fountain for music.
Okay. Very cool. Boosts. This is new. Now we read some boosts on the show. Petar, 100,000 sats. Thank you. Incredible lineup. Incredible conversation. I must listen. That would be a New York Times style quote. Vake, 15,000 sats and 20,000 cents. Thank for the high signal podcast. Thank you, Vake. Apemithrandir?
Apemithrandir. That's Gandalf's elven name.
There you go. So he gave 7,777 sats 3 times and another 2K sats. This continues to fail at being boring, and keep up the good work. Yes, we will try to always fail at being boring. Adam Curry, who was here on the last episode, I think, or the one before. 25,000 sats. Thank you for the invitation and value. Pablo, 10,000 sats in VK bullied into value for value. Fucking love it.
Let's go, Pablo.
Yaeloss, 10,000 sats. Great episode. Open standards are solid foundations. High signal. Ahanniga, 9,000 sats. Thank you, sir. Nomadjoe, he gave 4,000 sats and 5,000 sats. Enjoy the show. Good show. wolfbearclaw, thanks for the 5,000 sats, sir. So yeah, this is fun. The sats thing is it's weird. Even if it's like small amounts of money, it is weird not to appreciate the money streaming in. This is what did it for me for Lightning. That was the clicking moment Lightning for me. It's like humans just respond to value, to like essentially count go up, right? And the count go up being in sats, right? Which is, quite a small unit of Bitcoin. So you're going to get a lot of those units, at least for now, until one sat equal $1. And that's sort of like, it's a weird like thing. It just sort of like, it tickles the brain the right way. I think it's something that could happen. All right. Are you guys doing value for value anywhere, like streaming sats on something?
I started a podcast last year. I did like 5 episodes before I kind of haven't done any anymore. And I let my guest choose an open source project, and then I would say to the audience that any sats streamed would be sent to that open source project.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So noteworthy. So news and noteworthy. BentheCarmen again on the lineup. Got an entire Lightning Road to run inside the phone web browser, the Mutiny Wallet. Do we have a clap thing? I need a clap soundboard here. Wait.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That was a nightmare to do, but it works.
Bahamas regulator confirms FTX asset seizure after hack accusation. As Kevin O'Leary would say, I know how this crypto blockchain thing works. All we have to do is turn on the Amazon servers and we can find all the money in the blockchain. Well, sir, good luck with that. It's funny is like FTX is like a true fiat attack on Bitcoin, right? And crypto. They had no crypto or Bitcoin. Like it was a full-on fiat scam. Like they were fully empty. They sold all the stuff. It's very telling that politicians are covering for this guy.
They had a very small window from when there was a bit of like, oh my God, FTX maybe is going down to when they pause withdrawals, right? So there's no way that people withdrew in that window where there was FUD, but you were able to withdraw. There's no way that much Bitcoin that was supposed to be there was withdrawn, and that's why they had zero.
No, it was little. And another thing too, what they could have done is they were probably just buying the Bitcoin with fiat that they had in other accounts and sending that Bitcoin to those people withdrawing, right? Like, as I understand, they essentially had nothing.
Yeah, they're running it like a fiat bank, but they can't print Bitcoin though, so they got wrecked.
Exactly.
It's easy to give away other people's money, eh?
Yeah, it's absolutely brutal. Well, I mean, it's kind of funny, right? That they bought BlockFi, they bought Voyager to plunder their coin inventory.
They made them all deposit all their stuff on FTX so they could steal it. So,
that's kind of clever. Evil little genius.
I just read, so Kevin O'Leary and Anthony Scaramucci were interviewed, and FTX bought a stake in Skybridge, Scaramucci's fund. And as part of the deal, Scaramucci had to buy $10 million of FTT to try, I guess, pump the FTT because that was the collateral they were using.
I believe it.
No, he said. And then he said, when I found out that like shit was going south, I thought it was unethical. At least he's like, I thought it was unethical for me to then sell the FTT having insider knowledge. So he went down with the ship.
Well, I don't think it was very based on his morals. I think it's just probably would have been insider trading or something like that.
Yeah. I saw they did something similar with Sequoia, where like Sequoia invested like $210 million, and then FTX then just gave back like 99% of it.
Yep.
Yeah, invested in one of their funds.
Yeah.
The same amount almost.
Yeah, we call that money laundering.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, listen, money laundering laws and all this shit only exists because of taxes, right? I mean, if we have zero tax, then all these things go away. People would not be incentivized to create all these pyramids and all this structuring shit. So yeah, politicians, if you don't want to see crime, stop regulating everything as if it was a crime.
But it has to be everyone doing it, because then otherwise everyone just goes to the tax havens, and then the attention of the entire rest of the world's on them.
They changed international tax law, I think was in a big way, I think it was like 2014, to sort of curb. Essentially what they did is they raised the cost of foreign structuring, right? Foreign sheltering, so that dentists, lawyers, and professional services people would not be able to afford to do foreign sheltering. Only if you have a lot more money, you can afford to do it now, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Next here, Genesis balance sheet reveals web of loans losses, and they're sounds like they're in the hole for 2.8 billion. That number just keeps on growing.
Yeah.
Barry has that money in the pocket too, so I don't know. They could have resolved all this shit by just making approving the ETF. A lot of those things would have been resolved.
Yeah.
But it was a state attack on Bitcoin, so of course they didn't.
Did you guys see Hugh, this like ex hedge fund manager guy, Hugh Henry, interviewed Kyle Davies, one of the co-founders of 3AC, and Kyle said that, you know, one of the last loans that 3AC got was almost $1 billion off the back of a phone call, uncollateralized. And if you read Barry's letter to his investors, DCG took on, I think it's $1 billion worth of liabilities from the 3AC bankruptcy from Genesis. And so that's probably them lending them, you know, $700 million with nothing down.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. I still believe in people should be able to do business with a handshake. You know, the problem is, you know, when you have shareholders and, you know, and you have like, you know, public companies with a lot of unsophisticated shareholders, you know, there is a fiduciary duty there for you to sort of like do some kind of, you know, stuff. But private businesses, you know, different story. I don't know. I don't like the regulation aspect of all this stuff. I think people should just be free to do whatever they want. And I think a lot of the problems come from over-regulation of the stuff. So people try to create clever shit.
Well, I think this wasn't anything like they didn't break regulations by lending someone $700 million without collateral. It's just bad risk management in a way, right?
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, I would understand if it's a small enough amount that it doesn't wreck you if you don't get it paid back. Fine. But if it's like 700 million that wrecks you, then pretty dumb.
Yeah. It's a interesting fiat world out there.
Yeah.
You know, it's so weird, right? Because like all this Web3 shit, all this DeFi shit, all this perp shit is essentially the remake of Wall Street in crypto, between quotes, so that these guys can like exit on retail without like getting in trouble, really. They're not inventing anything new. It's all the same shit. It's just with more leverage.
It's all happened in the fiat world, in the traditional financial system 100 years ago. And that's why like there's all these things in place to make sure it doesn't happen again. Like it's funny if you go read about I think it's 1913 or something, the Knickerbocker crisis. It's like everyone's leveraged to the yin yang, borrowing money off each other to like corner the copper market. And then like some trade goes bad and everyone just goes bust at the same time.
Well, you know, I'm all for free markets. I think it's great that we like do all this shit and everybody gets racked and, you know, it's just, that's the way it works.
Yeah.
You know, like there is no socializing the losses.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if there was like a Bitcoin central bank that printed Bitcoin to save FTX or whatever. That would be horrible.
It still would not surprise me if after this whitewashing of SBF's character, if they don't find a way to make creditors that matter are of name whole through back channels somehow. You know, U.S. government goes, oh, here's a check, here's a check, here's a check. You know, stop making noise about SBF and stuff, and then kind of goes away, fizzes away. And then he's like has a commuted sentence of like, you know, 1 year commuted. So God. You know, like, oh, it's all done.
Yeah, so I mean, somebody will have to take the fault. Maybe it'll be Caroline or something. But
yeah, it's
not SBF.
Pretty weird. This whole thing is Air America. For people that don't know, Air America was a CIA operation to essentially have an cargo airline in Vietnam. They run it, operated this airline as a means of doing all the illicit shit that they wanted to do in Asia, and they were also laundering money through it and also delivering drugs. Like it was just the absolute most absurd shit. And I'm sure if you brought up that stuff back then, it's impossible. You know, FTX is totally the same shit. I mean, those guys are laundering money for the Democratic Party. Those guys were like, you know, it's just crazy. They own a piece of every fucking media outlet. Wow.
Yeah.
But he was a nice guy.
They bought a $3 million townhouse in Washington, D.C., where they would host parties and fundraisers for Republicans and Democrats as well. I read that the other day.
Brutal.
Yeah.
All right. Questions over El Salvador Bitcoin transparency. Human rights group in El Salvador has deemed the government restrictive policy on public information regarding its Bitcoin accounts as to be unconstitutional. Based on Bukele's social media posts, El Salvador has purchased 23K Bitcoins. Why do people put plural on Bitcoins? It's Bitcoin.
2,300, yeah.
Not counting the one Bitcoin every day. And I was like, beyond that, there is no official public record of it. Well, there is a record on BitcoinTreasuries.net. Apparently it's on BitGo or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they're saying they want to see like the transactions to see if he sold it or not, and
Right.
or spent it. But
Maybe it would be pretty funny if he sold it at the top.
classic.
It was on FTX.
government.
He lost it all.
That's right. Shows up in a bank account of a Ukrainian parliamentar in Europe, right?
I mean, here's the thing with sovereign Bitcoin adoption, does that make it easier for politicians to basically run away with the state's money,
Yeah.
right?
It's a good thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I keep on saying this. Like, Bitcoin is the perfect money for politicians to take their bribes in, right? I mean,
You don't need to deal with suitcases.
it's unconfiscatable. And as Obama would say, is a Swiss bank account in your pocket.
Yeah.
This is Obama said it, right? So everybody loves Obama. Tornado Cash developer remains in jail. Poor guy.
Yeah.
So absurd. Casa supports Ethereum. Uh-oh. So when they launched, they did support already Ethereum.
Yeah.
So they dropped it and now they have it again. I mean, I kind of get that, like, businesses of that size sort of eventually cave to the shitcoin customer that wants to custody their shitcoins, because trying to custody Ethereum is an absolute nightmare.
But it must be a pretty hard business model to get customer. Like, who's paying $2,000 to multi-sig their Bitcoin?
No, I see. The problem is, like, I think there's like plenty of people who do. The problem is, like, $2,000 is not enough money to run a business. Like, you need, like, think about it, right? Like, so say you have about, like, I don't know, like, say 100 employees, right? Everybody's making an average of 100K, right? So that's $10 million a year
Yeah.
of just salaries. So let's divide that by $2,000. So you need 5,000 customers paying $2,000. That's a lot. Like,
They
sorry,
don't have
is
that.
it a month or a
Well,
year?
I would bet they don't have 5,000 people paying $2,000.
Is it $2,000 a year?
It's $2,000 a year. Yeah.
It's so hopeless.
It scales up. It starts at I think at free. Like, you can download the app and like do your own
So,
thing.
and I imagine most of their customers that are lower tier.
Yeah, there's like 250. It goes up based on how much Bitcoin you hold, even though the solution is pretty much the same thing. You just get a few add-ons.
So, on the other side, you have Unchained, which I'm sure most of their money comes from the loans.
They don't charge for their multi-sig product is free. They just want to get you in there so they can.
Yep. But it makes sense. I mean, if I were a user of Unchained, I would use them to do the, if I'm using them as a loan thing, probably use them to custody some money because it's already KYC'd anyways, and would probably use them to also do trading desk operations, right? So buy and sell things, it's already secured in the same system, right? Don't have to worry about anything. You go, you telegram your desk guy and say buy, sell, and they deposit in the account.
I've got to say, and if you have a partner, if you have family that they're not Bitcoiners, having your own multi-sig versus being able to say, hey, you can go to Unchained and they have a key and here's another key, and you don't have to worry so much about like them figuring out the multi-sig on their own. It's a big deal in that sense.
I think, like, Bitcoiners sort of tend to not understand, on Twitter at least, that there is many different people in the world with different needs. Like people with a lot of money that have more complicated estates, right? Like, they do need custody of things. It's often part of the state, like, charter. So, like, you will need solutions like this, and, KYCing is part of the thing that they need. It would be cool if somebody came up with an Unchained minus the loan that doesn't have KYC.
That's Casa.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, but they charge you.
Right. And there is also Nunchuck, right, coming out too with those services too. But theirs is just a signing key with some policy, right? So they don't do KYC, and they are just a co-signer of your wallet. Like it's just a wallet. There is no service. There is no people involved.
I think it might be a nice way for a wallet that's sort of like marketing itself as like good for multi-sig if they to monetize on top said, you know, for users that aren't technical, you pay X amount of money and we help you set up the multi-sig and you have some support if you ever need to ask questions when you're moving it or doing something, you know, just have a human.
I don't know, man. We used to have a multi-sig and also a custodial wallet way back in the day, right? And monetizing it was a problem. When we launched, we used to charge you, is it 3.5% to deposit?
Oof.
You know, the same way Lightning stuff works now, right? Like it's just back in the day, it's just so little money, right? Like we were just trying to figure out how to make it happen without VC cash. And, you know, there was a lot of customers that we had to burn all that BTC into server costs, right? But like a lot of people saw the value in that. You know, I think the right solution will come about and people will be willing to pay and you're going to find an equilibrium of fee and service. It's just early.
Yeah, I mean, my first multi-sig, I did it with Unchained because I wanted the hand somebody to run me through, and they taught me how to use I chose my wallets, I chose a cold card, so they taught me how to use the cold card for the first time. The guy ran me through it, explained to me what a multi-sig, how it worked, and then I got comfortable with it, and now, you know, I can build my own and do my own stuff, or I can use Unchained as well if I want to, but it was nice. It was $250. Well worth it.
You know, Electrum, since God knows how many years, there is this company that's integrated into Electrum. I think it's called Trustcoin or something like that. It's essentially a co-sign service that's been around also forever. I'm sure they have customers.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's hard. Lightning is easier because you have access to the pile. So you can just take your fees, right? With Bitcoin, you know, if it's multi-sig done right, it means you cannot take the money, right?
Yeah.
And when it comes to, you know, like to this kind of stuff, it's, we need to find models. That's why we wanted to do the whole rev share of wallets for the cards at some point. We need to find other sources or ideally multiple sources of incomes for wallets so that you don't depend on a single thing. And then there's a good business, not just a surviving business.
I'm curious what their Ethereum model will be. Like, will it be the correct way to do multi-sig or?
How are they going to do those weird, what's it called? MEVs, whatever the hell. Because there is no multi-sig in Ethereum. You have to create a smart contract.
Mm. And like, there's famously Parity lost $1 billion doing that themselves. So
whoopsie.
I saw somebody made a price chart of like the Ethereum price with like a tweet the last time Casa was supporting Ethereum, and then the price just goes straight down, and then now it's like supporting Ethereum again, and then insinuating that the price is going to tank.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Coinbase delists Bitcoin Cash, ETC, and XLM and XRP. Wow. What a full circle.
This is Coinbase Wallet, I think, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's their wallet.
Yeah, it's Coinbase Wallet.
But like, what a full circle it is. I mean, XRP is old. XRP is older than, well, really, Ripple is older than Bitcoin. A lot of people don't know that. Mm-hmm. It's just, it was their Rugburg machine of bullshit. And then XRP on Coinbase was early. But the Bcash thing is funny. I mean, like, it really failed.
Yeah.
I love how long it failed for.
No,
it failed from the beginning.
It's still early.
It's a fat tail of failure.
It's funny too, because like Coinbase was like one of the like big proponents of Bitcoin Cash, but they Ninja launched it to try to get to like pump the price. Full circle.
Well, those guys know how to do insider trading legally, because only 2 guys got caught.
Oh yeah.
He's making, Roger Ver is busy making some country in the Caribbean have fun staying poor by adopting Bitcoin Cash.
Well, there's also now the Vercoin or something like that on Bitcoin.com.
Verse.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's trying to pay back that 47 million he owes that
I
exchange.
miss that intensity of Ver to help Bitcoin. Like a quality, intense, kind of crazy guy. Really, but like on the good side, it's fun to have these guys. But
I love those videos in like 2012 or 11 where he's just like at a supermarket and like forces them to take Bitcoin.
Yes.
He's like, I'm taking this sandwich. You have to take Bitcoin or I'm stealing it. And they're like, okay.
It's awesome. The best ver I think really is like him reading a prompt at Mt. Gox saying, I've checked their bank
Everything is
accounts.
fine."
Everything is fine.
Yeah. We hold customer assets 1-to-1.
It's like the most scripted. Like you could see his eyes reading it, the whole thing. Like it's so bad.
Good.
Is he would you guys say he's the biggest fall from like Bitcoin hero to Bitcoin villain out of anyone?
Yeah, I mean, like, is it true? Because he was a true hero, and then he was a true villain.
Yeah.
Gavin had enough haters right from the beginning. Mike Hearn was a spook from the beginning.
Andreas maybe, but not as much.
I think he's still relatively well regarded compared to Ver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Carpelis, he lost money, so. But he didn't steal anybody's money, which is kind of different, and he didn't launch a shitcoin after. Trace Mayer,
he got kind of fucked by Jed McCaleb, right? Mm-hmm. Like Jed McCaleb's got to be one of the biggest scammers still loose in the space.
He probably still gets money from the Gox servers.
He's still stealing.
That's right.
And he still dumps $1 million of Ripple every week.
Man.
Yeah. So yeah, it's Slayer heroes.
Yeah.
Okay. Blockstream launches Boat 12. Is it Boat 12 or no? BOL2.
Building on layer 2.
Yeah. Build on layer 2.
Oh, Build on Layer 2 initiative to bring developers, startups, and other contributions together. Same conversation, share, vision, scale, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So that's like what? Like a discourse thing?
It's still a wait list. I don't know how they're going to organize it, but there's a website you can go and sign up for a wait list if you're building on Liquid or Lightning.
Okay, so Blockstream launches Discord to try to convince you to use Lightning. Sorry, to use Liquid.
Yeah.
Sorry, Adam. I'm gonna definitely butcher this one on purpose.
Just on the Blockstream topic, they just allegedly raised some fresh funds, which is quite notable given they raised 210 or 20 million last year in April.
They were doing a fundraising. I don't know how much is public, so I won't disclose details. But when they do disclose, we can talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, Adam already confirmed they're doing it, just not how much. So
yeah, no, it's they have a big mining operation.
Yeah,
and now they have a green version of Jade.
Yeah,
with a polycarbonate clear like us.
Yeah.
Thanks for copying us in green. Love you long time. We actually have a green version coming at some point.
Don't make me buy more cold cards.
Yes.
I've got
you're
enough.
gonna buy so many cold cards. There's so much stuff coming.
Can you put magnets on them so they all stack together?
There's a lot of stuff coming, man. There's a lot of stuff coming.
Oh.
The BlackBerry cold card.
I like that.
Okay. Kids in El Salvador turning coins into sats with K1 El Salvador kiosk. Cool. Ledger launches Stacks. I love big friend of Charles, CTO at Ledger. Sorry, Charles, man. That was, dude, I can't. It looks so fucking weird. It's cool to see people doing different stuff. Listen, my next wallet is also going to look weird and not look cool for a lot of people. But yeah, e-ink does not refresh fast enough to do UI. So it's going to have that sort of like crappy kind of thing. And you guys built such like beautifully, nicely finished, like glass looking hardware there. So I don't know.
I thought the e-ink was cool, but if you go to their website, it's like they're using it to display like your NFTs on your hardware wallet. So it's like,
yeah, but NFTs, you want color.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, why wouldn't you use a normal, like an LCD screen? Longevity?
Cost, probably. Battery. There's a bunch of reasons.
Yeah.
Because you can have it like not plugged in, just sitting on your counter, and it'll still display your NFT then when it's not plugged in.
Normally, designers that leave Apple often are not the ones you want to hire. Sorry. Maybe you're a listener of the show.
I felt like they've just done it so you buy 4 wallets instead of just one.
Yeah, I find it cool that people are trying different stuff. It's like the early days of cell phones. We're all going to have like 50 different devices, and then eventually everything is going to look like a flat bar of soap. But yeah, no, congrats, guys. It's new hardware. It's cool. 200,000 Bitcoin worth $3.4 billion were removed from exchanges in the last 30 days. So yes, get your coins off the exchanges. If you don't care about self-custody, at least make them buy high on spot.
Make the Bitcoin price go up.
Yeah.
That's right. So simple. Strike offers cross-border payments to Africa and Nigeria, Ghana, to Africans in Nigeria, Ghana, and Kenya. That's pretty cool. It's I saw the demo. It looked like it actually works. Very nice. New communication protocol IBAX and extended protocol suite. Trema introduces IBAX, a new cryptographic communication protocol to further solidify Trema's time-tested security, future proofs, the overall system, end-to-end encryption group calls, perfect forward secrecy. I like Trema. I tried it many, many years ago. Nobody wanted to use it in North America because it costs money. But I really wish they would integrate Lightning on there so they would have some differentiation. But it seems like they're really focused on enterprise now, and so it's going that direction.
What's the difference between like this and Keat?
So this requires server coordination, so you don't like dox your IP. You know, it's fairly robust,
Okay.
time-tested sort of technology, right? Keat is sort of like the whole punch P2P, completely P2P thing. So you are doxing your IP. They're working on that. I'm very keen on trying Keat, but I do not do test flights because it doxes your phone's IME, which is really bad.
You can get the desktop app.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once I don't put things on my desktop that, anyways. I'll wait until things are a little bit more ahead. I am very excited about that project too. All right. We arrived. Do you guys have other projects you want to mention or anything I missed that you'd like to bring up? Good timing for that.
No, I mean, the only thing that's making the rounds now is that it's not Bitcoin related, is ChatGPT. Everyone's going crazy with the AI prompts and posting those all over Twitter, but it's not a Bitcoin thing. You're giving the WorldCoin guy your number.
Right. It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think it's coming like 6 months or so is going to be mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I think we're still in the gimmicky part, even though it's pretty cool. I mean, the other day we were looking for names for a product, and that because we were trying to find a domain that was available. So we just described the product to the AI, and it came up with like a bunch of names that were very reasonable.
Yeah. I think all these AI things seem to do, maybe they're a slight improvement on what the average quality professional can do, like copywriting or some AI graphics or all that.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, the mediocre industry of content creation is done.
Yeah.
I mean, like stock photos, like shitty articles.
The commoditized stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you're just going to plug into the API. The blog creates all the content. It's all like AI-driven content. And then the AI-driven bots that drive traffic for the ads are all going to be AI-driven as well. And then the AI is going to drive the ads arbitration, and it's going to be just like stupid.
What do you guys think about Odell tweeted the other day saying that like basically the internet's just going to be full of AI generated content, including probably Twitter.
Yes.
I could see that happening.
And it already is.
True.
Yeah.
But like me, instead of coming up with something, I would like people that maybe tweet, like, I can't be bothered to come up with a smart tweet about this. Just tell GPT to. It'll be weird thinking that it's like NVK tweeting, but he's actually using OpenGPT.
You know what I want? I want an AI that tweets when I want to take a break from Twitter for me. But it's science. Like created from reading a bunch of NVK stupid tweets.
You can already do that.
Yeah, maybe I should.
You can definitely already like have somebody take stuff you write and create an AI. There's a podcast called My First Million, and there's a guy called Sean in it, and somebody made an AI. It's like writelikesean.com, and it'll write Twitter threads in the style of this guy and does it like nails it.
You know, the mempool.space discussion on both the PR to remove it and the mailing list felt like it was AI debating on pure antagonism and pedanticism. It really felt that way. So maybe that was it. Maybe it was the AI.
Yeah. The AI is attacking Bitcoin.
Someone described it to me as like, this won't replace any like of the like hardworking smart engineers, but it's like it'll replace like having like 1 million dumb people working for you.
Yes.
So like all that, monotonous stuff is obsolete.
No HR headaches.
Yeah.
Facebook, this was years ago. They had, I don't know, like 10,000 engineers, right? But there were only 4 dudes who actually did the heavy lifting of like, merging all that shit and checking all that shit. So like, you could say in a way that like, there was a lot of dispensable people there.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the guy who prompted it to describe Bitcoin like Trump would?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
It's fantastic. It's so good.
I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of people that will get paid very well as the replacement for the essentially stock or B-roll creation people who write prompts.
Yeah.
They're going to be prompt artists.
It's like there's people that don't know how to use Google, and then there's people that are excellent at using Google to like come up to find the answer to whatever it is they're looking for, or find out how to do something. Like some people don't know how to use Google properly.
Yeah.
It'll be the same thing.
All right. Audience questions. What's the vision for the future of self-custody? It seems Satoshi's idea is very individual, would have a hardware wallet, but that doesn't seem practical for widespread self-custody. I've seen videos of people in Africa using modern-day Nokias to send transact BTC P2P over cellular connections. Can you custody on a device like that? Okay, so there's a few. This was by @M0RRY, so I imagine @Mori. So I am a believer that the Pareto distribution is going to still exist, compounded on sort of like any digital asset custody. So essentially you're going to have 80% of the people full custodia, and then 80% of the 20% are going to be in some sort of mix of garbage self-custody. And then, only that small percentage of people will be properly self-custodying it. It's a personal responsibility thing. It's a human thing. It's like my thinking on Ledger's market. Because they're not, I don't see them as my competitor because the people who use their devices don't use my devices, vice versa. I think anybody who don't care about verifying or having somebody else verify their code, so being source code available, and have shitcoins, all they're waiting for is for Apple and Google to launch like their embedded shitcoin wallet in their phones, and then they're going to move their assets there. Because, it's no difference. There is no difference there in security, really, because you're trusting essentially a certificate of like verified by, FIPS or whatever. Only difference, though, is, Ledger's still outside of the phone, right? And the Apple shit is in the phone. So you could have a remote sort of attack or whatever, but they could have a certificate for that too. I think the majority of the market that is going to live in the 80% of the self-custody people will be in phone, like Apple sort of hardware phone wallet.
Then Apple can delete your money, potentially.
Sorry?
I said then Apple can delete your NFTs, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, it would be weird if they start deleting Bitcoin. That's actually a good thing. Yeah, proof of burn.
Did you guys see this thing where they, what was it? Somebody had to remove some functionality of a wallet. I think it was something to do with Ethereum because Apple wanted to take their 30% cut of the gas fees.
Yeah, that was Coinbase Wallet. They had like remove all NFT functionality.
So it was NFTs, right? They couldn't do NFTs on Coinbase Wallet because Apple was saying you need to pay the 30% app store fee on gas fees.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
It's probably just some idiot, app reviewer.
But Coinbase also for a while had a few $1 million of Bitcoin in unspendable small UTXOs because they don't do UTXO management. So there could be more to that story that we just don't know about it.
Maybe. Probably.
Thanks, Maury. According to BlueWallet, they always allow you to use Lightning non-custodial since day one, but it's commonly considered a custodial wallet prior to allowing the creation of LDK wallets very recently. Where is the confusion coming from? Please explain to me like I'm 5. Stack to the future. Okay, who wants to explain how BlueWallet works?
And my understanding is like the on-chain wallet's fully self-custodial, and the Lightning, the default is like their fully custodial part, and you can use the LDK or self-host the custodial part, but for the non-custodial Lightning. But I think the Lightning's always like by default completely custodial.
Yep. Okay. I don't know. So another question here by Maury. What if all the miners got hacked with an unstoppable virus? I kind of like that question. Because it used to be part of the FUD. Every time we have an all-time high, the mining FUD comes back. And then you can spend hours on Clubhouse just like completely debating shit that's completely absurd. So first, most ASICs are fixed function silicon, right? So, the virus, very hard to build a virus that's going to get in there and change that function on that. So what could happen is you could have a virus that goes into the controlling boards of that stuff. But a lot of miners segregate all their systems from the actual internet. I mean, assume that a virus did manage to jump and get in there in a lot of miners. It just means we would lose hash rate. They can't really do anything else. I mean, they could try to drop enough hash rate, but then you essentially end up in either ghost mining or in 21% attacks, which it goes back to, sorry, good luck with that. Miners are not that important. It's the best way to sort of think about it. And because of that reason, the dynamics on it make it so that it's very hard to also attack them too, in a way that would be effective or practical.
Yeah, I agree. And probably the worst case is I think it happened to someone hacked an ISP and did the BGP stuff where they siphoned hash rate and stole money from miners. But if you're not a miner, who cares? It's not my problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think that happens all the time right now with Stratum V1. Mm-hmm. But that's going to be fixed with Stratum V2 from what I understand, because whatever the comms that can get intercepted so you can steal a hash rate are going to be encrypted now. Right now they're plain text or something.
Yeah. Good luck to anyone trying to attack Bitcoin. I actually welcome it.
Yeah.
You're going to have to probably buy some Bitcoin. Actually, the best attack of Bitcoin was the price with FTX. I always said it. The only way to attack Bitcoin realistically, practically in sort of modern Bitcoin, right? So the last few years, is through the price. Hurt that adoption. That you can only slow it down.
Yeah.
All right. The shout out to Phoenix I already gave. They promised me they're going to do channel splits in 2 weeks. We're waiting. Okay, competitions, Legends of Lightning. Winner, Light Sats. The runner-ups were Mutiny Web. Again, Mr. Ben. Saving Satoshi was the other one. Events, upcoming events. Bitcoin Africa is happening right now. I think it ends today. Bitcoin Mexico, it's December 9 to 11. I think Nifty is running that one. And the Canadian Bitcoin Conference, June next year.
Oh.
Yeah.
They let you guys run a conference up there?
We can do a lot of things here. This country used to be free. And it's funny too. It's so big. There's so few people, so spread. They're even when they come up with idiotic people control ideas, people here have to self-police. There is not enough bodies here to control the population.
It's no enforcement. That's great.
Well, your neighbors tell on you.
Yeah. I mean, people here don't have too much of that vibe either. We don't even have HOAs here. There is no house associations, neighborhoods kind of stuff. It's a lot more toned down too.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Plus it's cold. I mean, dude, if people that live in very, very cold places, if they don't kind of have a little bit of working together kind of attitude, they kind of die. You know, it's not like in Florida that you can be Florida man, right? Like if you drink too much, you know, show up in the beach and just pass out there, you know, like in some very convoluted, you know, 50 cal in your truck that tumble over or something. You wake up the next day, you're fine. If you fall off here in the winter, you die. So it's trickier.
Natural selection.
There is a bit of that. It self-selects for a little bit more cohesion.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine, man, the guys that came here, like, you know, they're like kind of messing around with this whole Canadian wilderness, you know, 1800s kind of thing. Oh, man, it was cold or buggy.
How cold does it get? Like minus 20?
No, where I am
Celsius?
gets to minus 30, minus 35 Celsius.
Jesus.
You know, if you just drive a bit more north, you know, it goes like minus 40, minus 50.
That's insane. Don't your like eyeballs freeze if they're out? Like,
Nah, it's okay. It's not the end of the world.
you don't have to wear goggles to go outside?
No. It depends on how long you stay and if you're like warm around and stuff. Where I am, like, I mean, you know, it's very brief amounts of minus 30, right? Like, it's fine. What I just find it funny is like when Canadians buy like cars like Priuses and things like that, and then we get like a massive snowfall and they can't move. And I'm like, dude, buy a fucking truck. Why are
what
you
are you
driving
thinking?
all these stupid cars that don't work in the winter? And you can't even, the lithium batteries here don't last as long either too. Anyways, what can you do? As Steve would say, greening is great for Canada.
Right. If you get the truck, you might make it stop. You heat the planet and make it stop snowing. Then you can buy a Prius.
That's right. So yeah, guys, I think we have a wrap here. Thank you so much for coming and attempting of being boring. It was a good go at it. Any final words, Mr. Gandalf?
I'd encourage everyone buy a cold card, self-custody your Bitcoin. Don't be complicit in creating paper Bitcoin. And thanks very much for having me.
Where can people find you to hear that wonderful voice, robot voice you do?
Twitter is the best place to go find me at BTC Gandalf.
Very cool. Thank you, sir. Mr. BentheCarmen. Any final words, sir?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This is fun. Yeah, also, you know, get your shit off the exchanges. Buy a cold card. You can use the Bitcoin company and get 10% off on your cold card. So
That's true. You can get a gift card for Coinkite on the Bitcoin company.
but yeah, I'm at BentheCarmen on everything. So
Plus, Ben does a lot of lightning work that's very interesting, and highly, highly, highly recommend going to the Bit Devs in Austin that he does the Socratic thing. If you know what Socratic is about, you probably come after that.
yeah.
And he does it in a cowboy hat too, which is very, very pleasing.
Oh
to
yeah,
the
you were there
eyes.
for that one.
Yes.
That was fun.
Thank you guys for doing so much education and helping Bitcoiners get their shit together. And I think with this, it was fun. If you have any submission ideas, do contact us. We're going to try to read this Boostagram thing now on the show. It's fun to have the audience contribute something. I am looking for a throw box for people to be able to listen live maybe and tackle us and sort of give ideas and contribute. I like that aspect. And people can correct my reading of the version number of releases as well. And with that, thank you. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow at Bitcoin Review HQ or get in touch on Telegram, Bitcoin Review Pod, or Bitcoin Review at Coinkite.com. We don't have a crystal ball, so let us know about your projects. Leave your Boostagram on this episode and we'll try to read it on the next episode. If you don't know much about Value for Value or Bitcoin Podcast 2.0, go to bitcoin.review/V4V.